Nigerian justice is dead on arrival as Nnamdi Kanu is to be released without the law. All right, my dear listeners, the justice of Nigerian is dead, so they say. On this very move, my dear listeners, I must tell you that Nigerian has lost its justice, its legal legal justice. No longer Nigeria no longer have respect for the rule of law. The rule of law has no have no stand in Nigeria anymore. Everyone is now above the law in Nigeria, so no more justice. You understand? Yeah, no more justice. That we say that this person has been given justice or deserve justice. It no longer exists in Nigeria because Nigeria does not have what it takes to grant justice to anyone any longer. They lost it right from the day they denied Nnamdi Kanu justice. Yes, they lost it. I'll be taking you into this video and I want you to pay attention as this information is dropped behind for you. Please, let's watch it to the very end because it has so much behind to get you enlightened. Yes, a lot, I tell you, a lot. So please, let's quickly go into this very video and get ourselves informed.
Yes, are even trying to intimidate eminent Professor Emeritus, Professor Déäd, who has been a provost college of medicine in University of Nigeria, who has been a dean. His medical record is here, and somebody that is not even a consultant is questioning the report given by Déäd. Now the team, you people constituted, met Nnamdi Kanu, that was 3 days ago, as the DSS, and Nnamdi Kanu subjected himself. We have that report. That report, as people have it, provide it in court. Having said that, now, what gives rise to this particular issue of medical council is the petition I personally submitted against Dr. Mohammed Nasiru from DSSS, the doctor that never examined Nnamdi Kanu, but he decided to depose falsely on oath. 37 paragraph affidavit. I submitted that petition. It was on that basis that Attorney General ordered the medical council to constitute a different board. We have been following it up, and that petition must be heard. And Dr. Nasiru should be, where his license as a medical doctor, if he is, should be withdrawn. Kanu is suffering this because he's an Igbo. We must say it. Yes. I didn't know that Kanu is from the north or from the southwest. We wouldn't have been here by now. And everybody's keeping quiet. Both the religious leaders, both the political leaders, both of the diaspora, nothing is happening. You feel that the judge said that he's not aware of this ordinary edition. We are taking it like that. We are going to bring a formal application. We are going to attach all the whole judgments given by even Kenya. The country said that yes, our country did not do well. Now Nnamdi is he has turned activist. The Nnamdi that comes in, he has turned activist. He's not your opposition. As you are doing anything, remember that you cannot be in government forever. Yes, tomorrow. That's my message to you. Thank you. And finally, to conclude everything, despicable, we take a serious exception to the fact that doctor that examined emeritus professor of medicine, well renowned all over the world, that someone from the government side reported him to the Nigerian Medical Association, and he was someone to Lagos to face a panel, all because he returned the truthful diagnosis of Nnamdi Kanu. So this persecution knows no bounds. We are wondering when they are going to come after the lawyers as well. They are now going after the doctors. The idea that the primary physicians for Nnamdi Kanu chosen by him is being intimidated by the government is despicable. The primary goal of everybody should be the health condition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Not the intimidation of anybody that brings the truth before the authorities. The doctor is a witness of truth, and on that truth we shall stand. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health condition is very paramount, and everybody should go out there and talk about it. You cannot stand trial if you are not healthy. Thank you very much.
I want to say something very important because I'm thinking that this ruling favors us. To some extent, the judge said that there is no evidence of extraordinary rendition before you. That is the case of jurisdiction. We are saying it. Yes. So we are not entering the first country because the time is okay, so the court has given us a hint. We are going to file it and bring the evidence that the court has correct. What we discover that the court has jurisdiction. So let us go with hope in our heart that the door is not closed. We are going to do it.
Well, the ruling simply requires Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the defendant, to enter his defense. It's not a pronunciation of guilt or not guilty. So that is why it's called a no-case submission. So the judge made a ruling that there's a prima facie evidence that needs to be explained. So in common parlance, it calls on him to come and mount his own defense. But there is the other aspect of the ruling that concerned extraordinary rendition. That very one is one that confounded us, because the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is so open and notorious. Two international institutions or two separate panels of the United Nations have made pronouncements regarding his extraordinary rendition and called for his unconditional release. Nigeria is a member of the United Nations and therefore bound to consider that and implement that decision. And in Nigeria here, 3 courts have made similar pronouncements. First was by the Federal High Court of Omar, which awarded him 500 million naira. And the Court of Appeal also pronounced that he was a victim of extraordinary rendition. And in the Supreme Court, the same Supreme Court that sent this case back to trial, reached the same conclusion that he was a victim of extraordinary rendition. And all these things are of the record. They are all in the file. And we remember when this trial was being conducted, these very documents were tendered in evidence. So it confounded us, it confused us that the court now made a pronouncement that the extraordinary rendition had no evidence before the court, that no evidence of it was submitted before the court. And you remember, least but not the last, recently a Kenyan High Court made the same pronouncement. But well, if the court was misled by believing by mistake that these things were not in evidence, it also said and left the door open that such evidence be submitted. So we are coming back with that evidence, and it's going to be quantum and leisure.
What about the first application on the enemy?
Well, that one too.
That is one of those things we are actually talking about. But now you can now hear it from the mouth of the lawyers of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Imagine if 2 international courts have made the pronouncement of Nnamdi Kanu's release. Why won't Nigerian government, Nigeria, which is a member of the United Nations, adhere to that very pronouncement? You see that Nigeria is really violating the rule of law. They are not only violating their own rule, but also the international rule of law. Okay, 3 courts in Nigeria has also given the same pronouncement and awarded him millions. My dear people, this is no longer a legal matter. I'm telling you, this is no longer a legal matter, but a political matter. Nigerians should just tell us that they don't want Nnamdi Kanu to be free, and that is final. Instead of just beating around the bush. We know it all, and we know what they are up to. So let them just stop these tricks they are playing. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just it.